How's it going, everybody? This is the Nitty Gritty. My name is Chad. This is Leonard. This is a show about wrestling. This is not one of our full-length episodes. This is going to be one of our shorter videos we call Stupid Questions, where we ask the other person a question. They have to think of an answer right off the top of their head with no preparation. It's fun to do, and it's just little short conversations that one would have if they were sitting next to a friend. Yeah. So this week, I get to ask the question, and it's a biggie, Leonard.
Okay.
So, Leonard, in your opinion, who is the greatest tag team of all time?
The greatest. See, that's the one a lot of people talk about. So there's some ready-made answers off the top of my head. I would say the greatest, my favorite and greatest, I would go with the Midnight Express, and I prefer the Lane and Eaton version because that was a version that I was more familiar with. But I think that team actually has a better mix because Eaton and Condrey are very similar in style. I think Lane and Eaton are a little bit different. So I definitely go Midnight Express. I would say the Brainbusters of Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard is way up there for me. Both being heels of Rock and Roll Express, I would say. I would throw into that conversation. I'm trying to think of other. Of course, people might mention something like the Road Warriors or Demolition. I'm not technically really a huge fan of either one of those. You know, as you hear me talk here, I seem to be more of a fan of the more technically sound tag teams as opposed to the big brawling type of tag teams. And one other name I'll throw out there, a favorite of ours here, is Strike Force. Tito Santana, Rick Martel, together for such a short time, but with such an amazing tag team. It's almost like, like a famous star or a famous musician who kind of dies young, like a James Dean thing. They don't have a lot there in the catalog, but what is there has become legendary. But my definitive answer here would probably be the Midnight Express with Arn and Tully as my number 2.
The Midnight Express is a very good answer, and I love Arn and Tully, the Brainbusters. I would put them at like the top of my list as like one of the more underrated tag teams or underappreciated tag teams, for only the fact that Arn was with Ole for a while as well.
And Tully, of course, wrestled as a single, and it was only after Ole had kind of left the Horsemen that they became the tag unit. And again, they really didn't have a name until they got to the WWF, and they were known as the Brainbusters, which is kind of a comedy name, but fun. And of course, having them with Heenan was a great combination. For me, another thing is I guess, the idea of a tag team with a manager. The Next Express had Jim Cornette, and Arn Tully had J.J. Dillon, and then Bobby Heenan.
Well, one of the teams I'm going to mention, and this might sound like I'm picking this team because of how many title reigns they had, but that's not really the case. One of the teams that comes to mind for me right away is the Dudley Boys, and the reason I say that is because I like not only a team that has proven themselves to be the tag team champions in every company they go to, but also a team that I feel can work with just about anybody. Anywhere they go, they're a name. Anywhere they go, they can have good, decent matches with any team, and they can motivate other teams and, give other teams a little bit of a rub that maybe pushes them up the ladder. And I think the Dudley Boys are a good version of that. Certainly, Leonard's choices are good because they lean more old school, which is what this video needs. Because I was thinking of, I thought of Edge and Christian, who are a great tag team.
Hardy Boys would be around that same time period.
Hardy Boys, yeah. But some of the ones you mentioned, Demolition, obviously, are excellent. And I would say I wouldn't mention them in the greatest tag team conversation just yet, but they are on their way, and that would be FTR.
I don't watch a lot of current product, but I do really like FTR, and I like the Good Brothers as well. Those would probably be my 2 favorite current, regular tag teams.
Absolutely. You mentioned the Road Warriors, and we've talked about this briefly in other episodes. As years go by, there you go. As years go by, I tend to look at them a little bit differently, just knowing more about how they would politic at various organizations where they would not be able to lose and stuff. But the Steiner brothers we haven't mentioned. The Steiner brothers were also very, very good. But also
especially early on, I would say,
yeah.
From early '90s Steiner brothers is amazing.
And you look at like promos as well. That's another reason why I would choose the Dudley Boys. And you mentioned a tag team with a manager. Dudley Boys can do their own promos, but they also did have Stacy Keibler there for a short time.
Yeah, that was just eye candy.
And that's all she needs to be, Leonard.
Yes. I don't think she was kind of, but that picture of her with them and she's just wearing the title belts. It's one of the greatest pictures of all time.
That's absolutely. But
Yes.
you look at the Midnight Express with Jim Cornette, and it's hard to think of a better classic version of everything that a tag team should be. Other than that, you have the two guys that get it done in the ring, and then you have the mouthpiece. But let us know.
Real quick, two others: British Bulldogs and Heart Foundation.
Heart Foundation. Yeah, you see, both of those are really good picks, and I thought of the British Bulldogs, and but both of those picks kind of have the same issue in that one of the members, or both of the members in the British Bulldogs case, went on to have such great solo careers.
Yes, and two, I think the WWF did this a lot. It was like a big power dude and like a small quick dude.
Yes, yeah.
And I think, and I do like that as tag team chemistry.
Yeah, absolutely. But let us know what you think of our picks for the greatest tag team of all time. If you agree or disagree, let us know in the comments. For Leonard, my name is Chad, and we will see you next time.